am Yolanda McKinney, and this is Table Talk Today. I have with me Winnie Lowe Davis. Hi, Winnie. And today, Winnie and I are going to talk to you about parenting. I have a passion for parenting, specifically parent involvement, parental engagement in the school setting, but also parenting skills. And I personally feel, of course, there are different programs and activities or whatever to teach parents of what to do, or tips on parenting. But I also feel like sometimes as parents we're lost. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about is old school versus new school, right? Because I think our generation is kind of caught in that middle place where we were raised one way and everyone wasn't, but
right.
I was raised a certain way, and then there is the new age way of raising your kids. And so how do you find that balance, and is there a balance?
Well, it's interesting. We always say, as kids, when I have kids, I ain't gonna never treat my kids like that, and I ain't gonna talk to my kids like that. And we want to be as far to the other side from mama and daddy or whoever raised us as possible. But it's in us. And so old school is gonna be here until it just kind of phases out. And I don't think it will ever phase out, because the controversy is over spanking, and I know some people gonna comment, oh my goodness, you beat your children. Don't send me no comments. Yes, I spanked their butts, okay? I'm telling you now, don't send me any comments. But I was spanked. I've never been to jail. I have never committed a crime. I am not aggressive. No. My self-esteem is good, and so I think sometimes we take things to a level that don't need to be taken there. Because I'm thinking to myself, my mom was of the old school. If you act up, that's when you get it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I can vividly remember being in the Winn-Dixie, and she told me, "You're not getting anything." And I was thinking, well, when we get in the Winn-Dixie, we'll see. So I'm just, can I have, just up and down the aisle, can I have? And that lady popped me in the grocery store. I told you wouldn't get none at this store. Now don't ask me again. And guess what?
You stopped asking.
I stopped asking. And whenever we went to the store, I let her volunteer. I didn't put it out. But I'm not emotionally scarred.
Yeah.
I just knew when the lady said, don't ask, don't ask.
That's it.
And I mean, because kids will, think about it, kids will always test the limits. And so this timeout thing that came out, years back, and it's like, sit in the corner and think about what you did. Well, if I'm 3 and I'm sitting in the corner, I'm not thinking about what I did, because I don't even know if I just remember what I did. I'm 3, I'm thinking about what I'm doing next. You thought about what you did? You know why? Because I want to get out of this chair. Not that I really thought about it. And so I think, spanking doesn't work for all kids. I'm not going to say it's the catch-all. It doesn't work for all kids. Some kids like, oh, you can hit me as hard as you want to. Whatever.
It makes them tough.
Right. But me, I just needed a few, and it was like, wow, that lady's crazy. Okay. I'm done. But I think the balance with the old school and the new school is just, each kid is different. And so you have to figure out what works for that kid. Some kids, all you have to say is, look, come over here. That's not going to happen. Don't do it again. They scurry off. Okay, that's good. Because for some kids, just you reprimanding them, it's like, here come the waterworks, like you spanked them. And it's thinking, I just talked to you. I didn't even spank you. What's going on? And so some kids, that's all they need. Other kids, you sit down and talk to them, they're like, because as soon as you turn your back, I'm going to be doing that and something else. And you're like, okay, I see we're going to have to put some action to this, because this talking is not working. So it really depends on the kid and what you're comfortable with. Because, you've heard, well, this hurt me more than it hurt you. As the kid, you're thinking it can't possibly hurt you more than it's hurt me, because this is physical pain. But it does. But it hurts us emotionally.
Yes, it does.
Because not that any child is perfect, but we as parents want to be able to say, hey, Sarah, don't go over there. And Sarah listens to us and follows. So when Sarah doesn't, it hurts us because we like, Sarah, you know, we're here to help you, to kind of guide you and keep you from some of the pitfalls that maybe we've experienced. It's not that we don't want kids to have fun. It's not that we don't want them to be adventurous. But there's some guidelines we have to have in place because you're entrusted to us.
That's a huge responsibility.
Right. And so, you know, it's not this baby doll kind of thing. This is a life that we're having to, with the help of God, guide in the direction that He wants them to go. And so it hurts us when what we feel like the parameters we've set up and the child goes the other way or does something differently. It does hurt us, not in the same way as it hurts the kid, but a kid's like, no, it can't hurt you as bad as it hurt me because you like tearing me up right now. But we are emotionally torn because we feel like, you know, some parents feel like, wow, I'm not a good parent because, you know, the more I try to tell her, the further she goes in the opposite direction, you know, then we beat ourselves up. And so I think really we have to be, number one, comfortable with whatever parenting style we gonna choose.
Exactly.
And I tell kids all the time, parenting doesn't come with a book. There are thousands upon thousands of books out there, and people gonna tell you all kinds of stuff. But there is no manual that says, baby's here day 1. This is what you do. Day 2, when they go to college. This is what, so you know, we live and we learn, and and parents have to be willing to say, you know what, I got that wrong.
Yeah,
I made a mistake. And so, you know, and not this because I said so. Because that's
really what I'm about to go into also.
For us.
The you know, again, I'm in all of this with parenting. I'm trying to find the balance. So the one thing about raising them in a way that we are instilling a level of confidence in them, and again, talking old school versus new age, where there are, like you said, every child is so different, and you have to realize what works with your child. And if you start out a certain way and your kids actually follow that way, then more power to you, and you keep moving, you keep doing it. Because, you know, anyone who is Facebook friends with me know I just posted yesterday that my son is 17 years old, and for the first time I said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and reached out for the remote, and that joker would not give it to me. And we're tugging over the remote, and he would not hand me the remote. And he's laughing, and I'm like, give it to me. Let it go. And he wouldn't do it. And so then I take his hand and I pop his hand. He's 17. And so I'm hurting my hand more than I'm hurting him. And he's laughing. And I'm thinking I'm going to snatch it out of his hand, and he's stronger than me. And so I'm like, well, I guess. I'm like, this is the first time. And I mean literally the first time that I counted and he would not do what I said. And I mean, literally a few weeks ago I did it, and he was like, Mama. But by the time I got to 1, he was doing what he was asked. So, like I said, you got to find out what works for you. That always worked with my older son. With my younger son, he realized some time ago that me counting down just was like, okay, I don't know what that's about. But,
that's right.
You know, he kind of looked at me, you know, he kind of looked at me kind of crazy the last time I did it with him, and I hadn't done it again.
Like, throw it out.
It did not work with that one. And so, you know, again, you just kind of have to know what works with your child. But again, I want to kind of talk about, went all off. I want to talk about parenting styles and definitely encouraging them and building them up and not tearing them down. Because sometimes you know, with not, maybe it's just actually a combination of doing several things that kind of create that. You know, whereas, yeah, let's say you spank them and then you tell them bad things about themselves and you just kind of pile on all of that because we're placing expectations on a child that a child won't really understand until they become adults.
Right.
Like you said, when I was a kid, I said, oh, I won't do that. And now I look back and I think, oh, that's why she did that. Oh, I didn't get that. I thought she was the meanest person in the world. Now I get it. But sometimes parents put expectations on their kids and expect a 13, 14, 15-year-old to have the understanding of a 30 and 40-year-old.
Right.
So how do we encourage them, and you know, how do we raise them in a way that we're building that self-confidence?
And I think it goes back to the way the parent was raised, because, you know, when my mama spanked me, it was just, look, this way you're getting spanked. It wasn't no discussion. We didn't talk about it. She didn't yell at me while it was happening. It was no cursing. And so sometimes, you know, if we grow up in an environment where, you know, consequences bring on all this negativity, and it's like you never get beyond the thing you did wrong. So, you know, maybe you told me not to get the cookie. So I get the cookie, and now I can never get beyond I took the cookie. Because whatever I do next, and see, and you know, because I knew you weren't going to be none, because remember when you was 5 and you went in there and took that cookie, I knew I couldn't trust you, and can't nobody trust you, and you going to never be trusted. And, you know, and it's like, I was 5 when I took the cookie. I mean, it was a cookie.
And I was doing what a 5-year-old would do.
Yeah. But I think sometimes we hold things over, and not just kids, but grown-ups, but we're talking about parenting, but we hold things over the kid, and the kid feels like, I can never get beyond that. Because whatever I do, if, you know, I left the water running, well, see, you know, I knew you weren't gonna never, you're not responsible, and, you know, and it's like, well, I'm sorry, lady, I forgot to turn the water off. I mean, you know, I'm like trying to flood the house or nothing. It's, so I think as parents, you know, we got to realize, are we really dealing with the current situation, or do we allow things to pile up where it gets to the point where now I'm exploding and I'm finna run you down, baby. These are all the things you have done wrong in the last 5 years, and you ain't gonna never do nothing right for the rest of your life. And so I think sometimes we need a timeout. We need to step and say, you know what, you just go on back there and I'll deal with you later. And then go and talk to yourself, because I'm just talking about it and just make me mad. You know, then get your mind right. Then go talk to the child. But don't go in there and especially cursing your kids.
I know.
Oh, that
I know.
Now you talk about some scarring. You may not see it, but on the inside, you have just stuck daggers in your child. I mean, to be talked down to, even as a kid, young kids get that. It's just in us that when people talk down to you and yell at you, that lingers with you long time. And so I think we want our kids to get it. We want our kids to be better than we are. We want our kids to be all of this, but at the same time, we have to remember they are kids. And we were kids who did some of the same crazy stuff that they're doing, you know? And so we have to realize, okay, I'm real mad right now, so I don't even need to talk to her. I don't need to say anything to him, because I may say something I regret. So, you know what? You just go back there and you sit down. You let me get myself together, because I'm the grown-up. And I should be able to handle the situation in a grown-up manner, not like I'm 12, 13 years old and yelling at another 12, 13-year-old, and the child could be 5 or 6. So like you said, not putting these expectations on kids, because we're not perfect and we didn't get it right all the time, and we made silly, crazy mistakes and stuff we did over and over again, even if we did get the spanking. You know?
I kind of want to jump into that, because, you know, that just kind of made me think about something else, where when we... mistakes we made. sometimes I think parents live in a space where, like even what you said about children, where we are so focused on those mistakes that we've made in our life, and those things kind of fuel the way we see the world and the way we react to the world. So I want to talk about when a person is trying to raise a child, and yes, we don't want them to do the things that we did, and we don't want them to go through the things that we did, but maybe sometimes we get so tunnel vision on protecting them from those things that we're putting a level of expectation on that child that again, a 13, 14, 15-year-old cannot handle and does not understand.
Right.
So how do you interact with your child in a way to get them to, I guess, I don't say understand what you're saying, but listen to you, to where they don't shut down on you when you're trying to teach them and talk to them about those things?
Okay. I think in order to get kids to listen to you, and sometimes we try to get it to be so deep, but think about how would you want somebody to talk to you for you to listen? Because they're kids, but we're all human, and there is a sense of how people talk to us so we can listen. And I tell kids all the time, when you yell, the other person shuts down. That's an I don't care if they're 2 or 202. When your voice gets louder, that other person in their head, it shuts off. Yeah, and they may nod and do all kinds of gestures, but they are not listening to you because we shut down. We shut down the moment voices are raised. So if you want kids to listen to you, you need to talk in a voice that's receivable. And there needs to be some back and forth. Because again,
communication.
If I'm talking at you, you like, yes ma'am, you heard that? Did you hear that? Did you hear what I said?
Yes,
you right. And as soon as they get out of your presence, they like, Lord, as soon as I get out of this house, Jesus, I'm graduating from high school, I'm out of here. Because these people are crazy. So,
and they never really learn the lesson.
Right. They don't. Because they can't receive the message because of how you give it. So if you want kids to listen to you, that's why I said sometimes you have to take a minute and be like, okay, let me go over here. And then come back. And see, I know for myself, and I'm guilty of it, and I'm working hard on it, because I will get on it, and boy, we get in the car, and I'm back on it. And we get to the place, and I'm on it again. Because see, you know what happened this morning, because I'm just trying to tell you, the children ain't a bit more listening to me, because they like, how long are you going to beat this dead horse? You already told me at the house. You told me in the car, and now you're telling me over here. You know what? I probably got it the first time you said it. I may not like it, but I got it. So you don't have to keep saying it. And I think sometimes that's why kids don't listen, is because we are like a broken record. We go over and over and over and over. And the kid's like, when she gonna start talking about this? Why, she gonna say it again, she gonna say it again. Then we get the fuss and they start laughing. What you laughing at? Because ain't nothing funny. See, that's why this was wrong with you now. You don't take people serious.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're absolutely right.
Because that's what we do. And I'm guilty of it. I know I am. And I have to say, Winnie, you said it. Let it go. And so I think we have to be in a place, even with the 5-year-old, say the 5-year-old took the cookie. We can say, hey, you know what, Sarah? We don't do that. We follow the directions. What did mommy say? Mommy said, don't take the cookie. You know why mommy said don't take the cookie? Because when you get ready for dinner, now after dinner, you won't have any cookies because you've already had your cookies. So I'm trying to help you, you know, I'm trying to do the very best for you, Sarah. It's not that I don't want you to have the cookie. I just wanted you to wait to have the cookie later. Leave it alone. Let it go. Let Sarah say what she needs to say. But Mama, I really wanted the cookie. It was just smelling so good. And Sarah, I know it was. But, you know, we have to wait for things. Let Sarah say, ooh, and don't you say a word. You know, and we don't allow kids to, because maybe.
Are you talking back?
Yeah. Maybe there was something that they need to share with us to help us realize how can we better handle so when that situation comes again, okay, maybe just saying to Sarah, don't take the cookie, maybe I need to put the cookies up.
And that's the thing, right? Right. Some situations you just don't even put them in the situation to fail. Right. If I got the cookie where you can get to the cookie, it would behoove me to move those cookies. And then Sarah has to come to me and say, "Can I have a cookie?"
Right.
Then you give it to her.
Right. So you know, we have to. It has to be, and like I said, even with the 5-year-old, there has to be a time where they can don't come. Don't.
It's already